Hello, everyone. I've been taking photographs long enough that I started out in film. As a matter of fact, in junior high, I was taking a class in black and white photography. And that class required you to take photographs and then develop them. We had a small dark room at the school with an enlarger, and it was required that you be able to take your film out of the canister, develop the film, then print the film, and develop the pictures that came out of it. Back then, it was a longer process than today. You could still do the same types of tweaks that you can do, but it required a particular eye for what you were doing and knowing how the exposures were going to work out. And again, that was just black and white. Color was another order of magnitude more difficult when it came to dealing with the film and what light you could have available while you were doing your photographs. But what I remember over this time is how limited we were when it came to using film. Now, there were neat tricks that you could do if your camera wouldn't auto advance, which most of them did. You could do double exposures and those kinds of things. And of course, you could always leave your shutter open for nighttime photography and see the swirl of the stars above you. But I remember doing a wedding. It was a small wedding. I had 20 rolls of film with me. Now, it was color film, and I was taking it in to be processed. I never set myself up to being able to process color film. I could process black and white, but never color. And what I remember from shooting 20 rolls of 24 exposures compared to today is that's a blip on a memory card today, right? There were so many more photographs I could take, but I had to be more strategic in what I took and when I took it. I knew I only had so many rolls of film, so I couldn't take everything. You needed to be strategic in what you took, which was both good and bad. Good in that it meant you planned out your photo shoot, but bad in that if something came up that you really wanted to get photographs of, what was always in your mind was, how many more pictures do I have left? Am I going to run out of film if I take a series right now? Because when you think about that number of rolls of film, that's 20 rolls of film, meaning every time I shot 24 pictures, I had to pop that roll out, pop another roll in, reload the camera, and go. But always you were thinking, all right, how many rolls have I used? You always had that in your mind. And then you had the long wait of getting the photographs back. And then you might have taken a good photograph, but it doesn't look as good as you hoped because somebody was blinking, for example. Moving forward to DSLRs, and I now shoot with mirrorless, it allows me to do those burst shots so that one of those pictures, they may be blinking, but the other picture, they might not. If I shoot a burst of 5 to 10 shots, I'm going to catch a blink or I'm going to catch a clear shot in that. And so I get to use a series now, when before I was limited to what I could shoot. Now, there was a bit of a mystery, if you will, of when you shot with film. And that is, you thought you got a good shot, but you really wouldn't know until the film was developed and you could look at the negatives or look at a print from the negatives. Right? You might have seen people with magnifying glasses looking at these little sheets. They were contact prints, and that is just a negative put over a piece of paper, print paper, exposed, and then printed, going through all the developing processes. It's the same size as the negative, so it's not as costly as doing all the prints, because you can get a bunch of negatives that will fit on one piece of print paper. And that was a way of proofing your work before you decided which ones you wanted to print. Today, of course, we just take a bunch of pictures, load them up into something like Lightroom, blow them up big on our computer screens, flip through them to see which ones we like, and hit pick every time we see one that we want to keep. We don't have to wait as long as developing processes, which, could take a week. So we just take our cards home, we pop them in, and we take a look at the pictures that we got. In a way, that takes away, or can take away, a bit of that being strategic about the photographs that you take. But on the flip side, it means you can get a lot of pictures that you otherwise would have missed simply because you ran out of film, or you didn't take a picture because you were worried you'd run out of film, only to realize that you could have taken an extra couple of pictures because you didn't run out of film. And when you're taking an event like a wedding and you're trying to capture all of the family and all of the interactions, that's a lot of photographs to have to take. And that's a lot of things to worry about what you're going to miss. What am I not going to take if I don't take these photographs, if I'm going to miss something at the end of the reception? Or should I take these pictures now because there won't be as many more that I need to take? So having this new digital ability of shooting so many photographs and just being able to pop another card in, so you're not changing as often as you would with film and taking thousands and thousands of pictures per card, allows you the freedom to capture all of the moments and then pick the ones that are important, as opposed to trying to envision if this moment in front of you right now is important enough to capture and worry that you might miss something possibly more important later on. I went into the wedding with 20 rolls of film. I shot 20 rolls of film. Developed every one, and out of the 480 photographs that I took, I ended up with over 200 keepers out of it. So not a bad ratio. My ratio is a lot lower today because, again, I shoot in bursts, so I'm getting duplicate photographs, if you will. but it allows me a little bit more freedom to take those other pictures. But what do you think? Do you like the film, having to plan out your shoots and waiting to see what you captured? Or do you prefer the DSLR or mirrorless cameras that allow you to immediately take your card and see what's on them? As a matter of fact, the Canon that I've got goes so far as you can put an app on your phone, or I've got it on my tablet, and I can grab the photos right off the camera and see them, download them, and there's a Lightroom app on my tablet that I can use to modify that photograph. So I'm not even waiting for the photograph, but B, I can do all of my work right there on the photograph. And if I had a printer available to me, I could send it from the tablet to a printer. So things have changed a lot in what we could do for turnaround time. But it's freed us up a little bit to capture more, but taking a bit of that strategic away. So think about what types of photography you prefer. Film cameras are still available. The one thing I miss about one of my film cameras is it was a Canon that had something that they're just putting back in the cameras again, and that was autofocus that was based on where your eye was looking. And for me, that was awesome because I could keep the camera focused and do a thirds if I wanted. In other words, a person on one side or the other of center, and it would focus on the person. It didn't have to, you weren't thinking about the eye, which now the focus can find an eye and focus on that. But it gave you that quick, I'm looking left and focus on the left type of shooting that you could do, which for me was a little quicker when it came to doing things like sports and other events than just having the autofocus go in. But now the autofocus has gotten almost good enough for me to just rely on that. That's what I got for you guys this week, and I will talk to you all next week.